Hello, dear students of English 4. Welcome to our third Zoom meeting of the class. And it is, as always, a pleasure for me to have you in this Zoom meeting of the class. Okay, so we're going to be working on session 3 based on Unit 10. Have you ever reading a KML? Okay, so that is the session that we're going to be focused about. We're going to be focused on, sorry. And before to get started our English session, we're gonna take a quick look at the introductory video that we have for this very special session of the class. Okay, let's take a quick look at it.
Hello, everyone. So our class English 4. This is another sessions. My name is Noe Abraham Sigal. I'm still a teacher. The topic that we're going to discuss in these sessions is the present perfect. Thanks. This is a pretty broad topic, so we're going to cover this topic in these sessions and probably in the next sessions. Right. So the present perfect adverb tense. It's a little bit difficult in English. It's used in several different ways, and there are a lot of rules to remember. This rule we are going to discuss in details in this session. Soon that we're going to have, right? How to use the present perfect, and also what is the difference between present perfect and simple past. Also, I share with you some irregular verbs. Two lists of regular verbs, part one and part two. Um, this list of the regular verbs I like much because it divides the irregular verbs in groups, right? So it's gonna be easier for you to remember and learn the irregular verbs. For example, we have an example here, say, sin. Sin is the past participle because in the present perfect, what we use of the verb is the past participle. Think, thought, drink, drunk, cut, and come. So in this list, we are going to see, as I said before, dividing in group, for example, group of verbs that the past participle ends in the end. For example, see, sin. Um, Verbs that the past and the past participle is the same. For example, think, thought. Um, Verbs that uh, end in unk, for example, drag. Verbs that are the same, present, past, and past participle. For example, could. Also, verbs that the past is different from the past participle. For example, begin, began, become, right, and so on. So all this topic we're going to see in details in this section. Right? This is all the topic that we're going to see in these sessions. Thanks for watching this introductory video.
Thank you very much for having this space. And now we're gonna be moving on a listening section, okay? This listening section, it's about we're going to listen and then we are going to practice the vocabulary that we have in here, okay? So Let's wait a little bit. Okay, this is a conversation between Jen and Toad. Both of them, they're taking a visit to New Orleans. Okay, so we're gonna listen the conversation and then you can practice the vocabulary and highlight um, the unknown words that we found in this conversation, okay?
Unit 10. Have you ever ridden a camel? Page 64, Exercise 2, Conversation. A visit to New Orleans. Part A. Listen and practice. It's great to see you, Todd. Have you been in New Orleans long?
No, not really. Just a few days.
I can't wait to show you the city. Have you been to a jazz club yet?
Yeah, I've already been to one.
Oh, well, how about a riverboat tour?
I've already done that too.
Have you ridden in a streetcar? They're a lot of fun.
Actually, that's how I got here today.
Well, is there anything you want to do?
You know, I really just want to take it easy. My feet are killing me.
Unit 10. Have you ever ridden a camel? Page 64, Exercise 2, Conversation. A visit to New Orleans. Part A. Listen and practice. It's great to see you, Todd. Have you been in New Orleans long?
No, not really. Just a few days.
I can't wait to show you the city. Have you been to a jazz club yet?
Yeah, I've already been to one.
Oh, well, how about a riverboat tour?
I've already done that too.
Have you ridden in a streetcar? They're a lot of fun.
Actually, that's how I got here today.
Well, is there anything you want to do?
You know, I really just want to take it easy. My feet are killing me.
Okay, thank you. Excellent job. Okay, now guys, we're gonna be talking about present perfect with yet and already. These are two important words that we might use when expressing actions with the present perfect, yet and already. Okay, so and here the present perfect is formed with the verb have, and then we have the past participle with the subject. Okay, also we have some contractions for the affirmative form, and the present perfect tense we use with already, yet, since, and for. In this case, already means that something happened earlier than we expect. With present perfect already usually goes after have or has and before the main verb. For example, she already has done her homework, right? Examples, we've already had our breakfast with contraction of we have. When are you going to do your homework? But I've already done it. Do you want do you want a cup of coffee? No, thanks. I already had one, okay? Also, guys, and here that means that something that we expected has happened or hasn't happened. We usually put it at the end of a sentence. Example, has the post arrived yet? Have you done your homework? Not yet. Haven't you got ready yet? Look at the time we use for a period of time, for example, a few days, half an hour, 2 years. We use since with the time when the action started. For example, last year, June 8, I met you. The present perfect with already and yet. Already means that something happened earlier than we expected. With the present perfect tense, already usually goes after verb or it has and before the main verb. Yet means that something that we expected has happened or it hasn't happened. We usually put it at the end of a sentence. Now I'm gonna be providing you some examples. I have already seen that field. I don't want to see it again. Arriving at the bus station, I found the bus had already left. Have you already taken the money? He has already done the shopping. He is watching TV now. Mark has already here, but John hasn't come yet. Michael has bought a new dress, but she hasn't worn it yet. He hasn't watered the flowers yet. It hasn't been decided yet. We haven't been able to solve the problem yet. She won't she won't have sent the email yet. Okay. Also, guys, and here the present perfect with already, recently, lately, and just. Already and yet already can be used in positive statements and questions. I already read today's newspaper. If you already paid the electric bill, she's finished the test already. Note, already can go in between, have, has, and the past participle as in the first two examples or at the end of the sentence. Yet can be used in negative statements and questions. We haven't cleaned the house yet. Has he told you the good news yet? Have they booked their tickets yet? No, yet usually goes at the end of the sentence or phrase. Recently, lately, and just. Recently and lately can be used in positive statements, negative statements, or questions. He's recently lost some weight. I haven't seen her recently. Have you spoken to Beth recently? Lately, I gotten a lot of spam emails lately. Adam and Jessica haven't been to church lately. Have you seen any good movies lately? Just usually means very recent. It's typically only used in positive statements and questions. Don't touch the walls. I just painted and they are still wet. What book have you finished reading? Also, regulars and irregular verbs that we have for the present perfect, right? The regular, we just know that they have an ed. For example, stop, hope, hoped, stop, stopped, listen, listened, study, studied, start, started. Okay, and the regular, they tend to change from his simple form to the simple past and the past participle. Okay, some verb has a regular past form. Most of the irregular verbs in English are given in the alphabetic list on the inside front and back covers. Okay, irregular verb list that we have in here. Now we have a video tutorial when to use the present perfect.
Okay, get your notebooks ready. We're focusing on the present perfect tense, what it looks like, how to use it, and when to use it. Hello, I'm Emma from English. If you don't feel confident using the present perfect tense in English yet, there's probably a few reasons why. There's those nasty irregular verbs in past participle form. Or maybe you feel unsure about when to use the present perfect and when to use the past simple tense. Even if you're quite good at using the present perfect tense in English, it's definitely worth reviewing this tense to jog your memory. That expression means to remind yourself. So are you ready to start? Grab a notepad and a pen and let's go over this beautiful tense right now so that you can feel more confident using it. Oh, and if you can think of a friend who needs to review this tense too, make sure you share this lesson with them. Click the share button just underneath this video. They'll thank you for it. First thing, the grammatical structure. What does it look like? Well, it looks like this. Subject, have or has, and your main verb in past participle form. So the subject you already know. You can use a proper noun or a pronoun. I, she, they. In the perfect tenses, the verb have is an auxiliary verb. It's a helping verb. It's not the main verb in the sentence. And that means that it's usually unstressed and often contracted when spoken. So she has becomes she's. I have becomes I. But I'll talk more about that soon. But then comes the main verb. In the present perfect tense, the main verb is in past participle form, not in past simple form. Now, this is no problem for regular past tense verbs. For regular verbs, the past participle form is the same as the simple past. So you just need to add ed. Watch in the present tense becomes watched in past simple, and it's also watched in past participle form. Laugh becomes laughed, and is also laughed. Dance, danced, danced. Cold, cold, cold. And even some irregular verbs use the same verb for past simple as the past participle form. Have in the present tense becomes had in the simple past, and it's also had as a past participle. Easy, right? Win, won, won. But these really irregular verbs are the ones that cause all of the headaches, because there are 3 different forms that you need to remember. Go in the present tense becomes went in the past simple, and in the past participle form, it's been or gone. Some more examples. Fly, flew, flown. Throw, threw, thrown. Do, did, done. Become, became, become. Speak, spoke, spoken. I'm sure you can think of many more examples, but with these verbs, there's no pattern, there's no rule to follow. You just need to memorize the past participle form. But keep an eye out for my next video next week, which will help you to practice and memorize these past participle forms of irregular verbs. In fact, if you subscribe to this channel, click the red button here, then you'll find out as soon as it's ready. But to use the present perfect tense well, you may need to
Okay,
polish
very
up
good. Thank you for
some
having
useful
this look at the
irregular.
video tutorial. Now I'm going to be explaining what is the past participle in English and when do we use it to make statements. Basically, the past participle is a form of the verb that describes completed action or state. For regular verb, the past participle is the same as the simple past. I work all day yesterday. I work past participle here since August. This is also the case for many regular verbs. He sold his car last week. He sold 200 books so far. A past participle indicates past or complicated action or time. It is often called the ed form. It is formed by adding d or ad to the base form of regular verbs. However, it is also formed in various other ways for irregular verbs, and it can be used to form a verb phrase as part of the present tense, okay? And now we're gonna be watching a video tutorial for you to enhance the content we're focused on.
The patients are examined by Mr. Rogers every day. And the past participle examined is used here to make the passive voice form of the verb. So you can get more information about that in my previous video about the passive voice. And one more slide from the previous video. The past participle is a special verb form which we use to make other grammatical forms. So we can make the past participle from regular verbs, and in this case we use the ending ed. For example, examined, invited, employed, or from irregular verbs. And in this case, it's the third form of the verb in the chart. So here we have written, broken, and left. These are past participles. More examples of the past participle when it's used to make the verb in the passive voice form. They were surprised by the news. The report will be finished tomorrow. English is spoken in many countries of the world. A lot of the patients who were examined by Mr. Rogers feel better now. A lot of the patients who were examined by Mr. Rogers feel better now. So here we have a relative clause with a verb in the passive form, were examined. And this is the case when the relative clause who were examined by Mr. Rogers splits the main clause into two parts. A lot of the patients feel better now. Now let's say the same in a bit different way. A lot of the patients examined by Mr. Rogers feel better now. A lot of the patients examined by Mr. Rogers feel better now. So this sentence is a little different, isn't it? We have only the participle examined, and we don't have two words, who were. So what's happened? Why do we have a sentence like that? So let's take the original sentence. A lot of the patients who were examined by Mr. Rogers feel better now, and mark the relative clause in green, who were examined by Mr. Rogers, and take a look at the transformation. So in the second sentence, a lot of the patients examined by Mr. Rogers feel better now. The relative clause is reduced just to the past participle and the words related to it. So instead of who were examined by Mr. Rogers, we just say examined by Mr. Rogers. And this is called a participle phrase or a participle phrase or a reduced clause with a
Thank
past
you
participle.
very much.
And
Now we're going to be working on the practice section. Complete the sentences with, for, or since. So I want to highlight something in here. Practice exercise. Puntaje no será acumulativo, okay? So this is not accumulative, even though that we have a score in it. Now we're going to complete the sentences with for or since. I have had a horrible cold since Friday. No capital letters, something. We live in this house for 3 years. Dan's known Alice since they were kids. Have you ever been here since 8 o'clock? I've been on that diet for 5 long months. Okay. Now, oh, good. If you notice, all of them are correct answers. Let's wait a little bit. All of them are correct answers, okay? Now let's move on the practice exercise number 2, correcting the mistake, okay? So we're going to correct. I've known you for 5 years. We don't seen her since last week. We haven't seen her since last week. She has played She has played tennis since she was 8. They live in Rome. They live for ages. They live in Rome for ages. How long have you been? Have you been here? Okay. Now let's check. All of them are good answers. Okay, so but we're gonna wait a little bit more. Okay, very good. There we have. All of them are correct. Now in here, we're gonna have a practice exercise number 3, grammatically correct or incorrect. Okay, so this is not a cumulative at 12, so please, even though that we haven't scored, please take that into consideration. They already given me the money incorrect. She's been to Berlin twice, correct. Gary is known Darla for a long time, incorrect. I haven't read today's paper yet, correct. In here, has he ever eaten Brazilian food? That's correct. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, very good. Now in here, guys, you're going to have an evaluated exercise. You're going to fill in the blanks using the verb in parentheses in the present perfect and using since or for with some cases, okay? So please uh, take that into consideration. How long have they been sitting here? Okay. How long have they been sitting here? Also, I have known her since school. Okay, and the other ones you need to make it by yourself, okay? Because this is evaluative and means that you need to do it by yourself, okay? If you have any question, please do not hesitate to contact me through the WhatsApp group. For those students who were not able to get joined to the Zoom meeting, let's remember here, and lastest, if you miss any Zoom meeting, you're just basically going to click on it and that will take you out to the Zoom meeting that has already been recorded and uploaded on YouTube. Okay.
Hello, dear
And
students of English
please
4.
try to complete your task on time just to avoid any kind of issues that we might face during the course. Okay, thank you so much. And it was a pleasure to have you in this Zoom meeting. Bye-bye.